Well, I guess it all started back in 1994. Me and some friends, we were big into professional wrestling. We just started goofing around one night, kind of, beating each other up. And I don't know, we threw a couple mattresses down. We had some wrestling matches, and I don't know, it was fun. So we started doing it more often. We were videotaping it. We called it the JWF, Junior Wrestling Federation. And that was fun. We had fun with that. We were just goofing around. It was more, we had a bunch of wacky characters and such, and wasn't really, the focus wasn't on wrestling as much as just, goofing around, and more comedy than wrestling. And so we did JWF for about, I'd say we did that for about 2 years, 2 or 3 years. Here and there, every couple of months or something, we would do something and tape it. As the JWF progressed, some of us got a little more serious about it. I think some of us were bigger wrestling fans than the others, and there kind of seemed to be a line forming between people in the JWF, between people who were into it for the wrestling and into it for just goofing around, and eventually that kind of led to the downfall of the JWF. So eventually the JWF kind of split up. Those of us that were getting really into the wrestling part of it split off, and the other guys basically just stopped altogether. Those of us who were more into wrestling moved to another basement, and this time instead of just, a pile of mattresses, since we were getting a little more into this, we actually built a ring in his basement. Well, sort of a makeshift ring. It was made of, mattresses. But we built it in the corner, and it had ropes this time, but only on 2 sides. The other 2 sides were solid cement wall, which was always safe. So out of this basement came the BWA, or the Basement Wrestling Alliance. And the BWA was, that was it for us. This was all the people that were the most into wrestling, and we recruited some new people that were just as into wrestling as we were, and we started putting on shows, and we were doing all kinds of great stuff that we'd never done before in the JWF. And besides the good wrestling and all, we were still having, lots of fun. We still had, we had our wacky matches, and then we had our more serious matches. And the BWA really picked up. We gained a lot of popularity. We were packing in 70, 80 kids into this basement to come watch our shows, and the BWA was a big success.
I started when I was about 14 in my backyard. I had a couple friends from high school that loved wrestling just as much as I did, so we figured we'd set up a makeshift wrestling ring, a couple mattresses, and just start wrestling. And we did that for fun, in the summer, not in the wintertime because it was outside, and not when it rained, so basically we were pretty limited. But we did that for about 2 years or so. So I was 16, and I had a friend that worked with a friend that was in the BWA. And, I heard about it. I seen their website. They're pretty popular. So they invited me up. They heard about me. So I came up and gave it a shot. I showed them what I have, and I think they liked what they seen in me. So I started wrestling for them.
Well, I started when, like I said, about 5 years ago, when, just a bunch of kids I knew were doing this thing in their basement, and I said, can I get into that? Just because I've always been a wrestling fan since as long as I can remember. And so I went down and just did a couple matches, and then, we moved things over to my house. We built a makeshift ring, and it just went from there.
The basement basically just couldn't really hold us anymore. The ceiling in the basement is pretty low, and we're all getting kind of tired of hitting our heads or legs on the ceiling, and we figured we could do so much more if we only had, headroom to, we could do high-flying stuff and all kinds of stuff. So eventually we moved the BWA outside to the backyard. We built another ring, this time with ropes, on all 4 sides. It was pretty similar to the one in the basement, maybe not as much padding. It wasn't all mattresses and stuff. We acquired a big high school wrestling mat that we used for the main portion of the padding of the ring. And then the poles were cemented in the ground, and we used real rope for the ropes, which made it possible to jump off the top ropes, which was something we were never able to do before. And that opened up a whole new world of possibilities for us. Our guys were flipping off the top, flying all over the place, and going to the backyard just dramatically improved the BWA.
Why I wrestle, I really have no clue. I mean, I guess it's like asking, why does a basketball player play basketball? You know? Why? Why does a football player play football? Maybe he likes it. Maybe he loves it. Why I love professional wrestling? That's why I do it. I mean, why not? I've seen other backyard wrestlers wrestle, and quite frankly, I'm better than them. And a lot of my friends are better than them. And I figured, we're pretty good. Why stop? Let's continue, get better and better, and we'll see what comes of it.
I think of it, it's just a hobby. You know, it's fun. It's something we like to do. I mean, other people, you know, they play basketball or football, or we wrestle.
I don't do it because I think that I'm great, or I think that I'm gonna better than the next guy. I do it because I enjoy the sport. I respect the sport, and I grew up with the sport. It's just a hobby for me. I don't claim to be any better or any worse than anyone else. I do it just for the fun of it. I could care less if anyone watches it, likes it, or cares about it. I mean, as long as I'm having a good time and, you know, not killing myself, then it's worth it to me.
So we had finished the summer wrestling in the backyard when, you know, we came to the realization we can't wrestle in the backyard year round. You know, winter was coming, it was getting cold out, and, you know, weather and everything else. You can't wrestle in the backyard all year. So we had basically just assumed we were done, you know, at least till next spring or summer. So we weren't wrestling anymore, and October came around, and we found a real wrestling ring for sale on eBay. This ring was, you know, very reasonably priced. It was something that if we all went in on it, we could easily afford it. And, well, we decided that we would go for it, and we won, and we bought a wrestling ring. Now, the trick was the wrestling ring was in Ohio, and we had to go out and pick it up. So 4 of us packed into a car and left at midnight one night and just drove all the way straight. Went to Ohio, picked up our wrestling ring, and brought it back. So now we had a wrestling ring. Here we were with this huge, real wrestling ring, but nowhere to put it. So basically, the wrestling ring sat for a good 6-7 months. It just sat there. I mean, we were looking. We were out all the time looking for places. We needed a place with, you know, a high ceiling. We were mostly looking for like a warehouse space or something. And, you know, we just kept trying and trying, and place after place just kept falling through. And we were really kind of getting down on the whole thing. We thought we'd never find a place. But then in late February, just out of nowhere, just off the cuff, we called a number that we saw on a place, and we went up to check it out, and this place was perfect. It really fit exactly what we needed. And upon talking to the people, the rent was something, again, that if we all chipped in on, we could afford. So we really didn't even give it a second thought. That day, we told them we'd take it, and we put a down payment on. And March 1st, 2001, we moved in to our new warehouse with our real wrestling ring.
Currently, well, I'm not in the backyard anymore. I'm not in a basement. I'm not wrestling in other backyard federations. We own, basically, this warehouse that we can come to at any time and wrestle whenever we feel like it. And I'm actually the one who's here the most. I'm here about maybe 3 or 4 times a week. I love it. And I think I'm getting better at it. And I'm meeting new people because I have this place. And it's just great. People love it.
So now, you know, we're here. We have our warehouse, a wrestling ring. I mean, talk about like a dream for us. We have this place that we can go to anytime we want with a wrestling ring in it. And, you know, we're just doing a lot of training right now. You know, we're not even thinking about shows or anything like that yet. I mean, that's a long way off. We just come to the ring and you know, we have fun. We mess around, but we're doing a lot of like serious training now. I mean, we just want to like learn how to do things right.
Hopefully in the future we can put on shows and just like we did in the basement, you know, just to fans and people that love it, and we'll give them what they want.
The future, I honestly think we really shouldn't even be doing this. And no, I'm not kidding. I mean, when you see like all the pros, all the trained pros, all like the renowned people who train wrestlers who've been involved in the business, and they slam backyard wrestling, slam things like we're doing, I think they have all the right to do that. I mean, we're out here, I mean, we're getting hurt. We don't know what we're doing. I mean, at least we're trying to make a conscious effort to train ourselves, but like, I understand where people say, oh, look at these kids in the backyard, they're hurting themselves, they're giving a bad name to wrestling, which they are. I mean, I feel kind of a part of that. I mean, I don't want to glorify it any more than we are. I really, that's why I'm wearing the mask. I don't want to be associated with it. But, I mean, it's just something I like doing.
As far as what I see in the future, I just want to keep wrestling, you know, and then just improving. You know, I don't have any unrealistic aspirations to go to the pros or anything like that. You know, like my friend here said, we both love wrestling, and it's been in our blood since we were, you know, just young kids. And I just want to keep doing the thing I love, and that's wrestling.
As for the future of this, I don't know. We're having a lot of fun in here, and I don't know, I see maybe in a little bit, you know, maybe we'll get good enough to put on a show or something, you know, a big wrestling show. That would be, you know, that would be a lot of fun, because that was definitely my favorite thing about doing all this, was doing the shows live for the crowds, because I mean, you just get so much energy from the audience when you're in here doing it. It's such a adrenaline rush. So I see us maybe putting on a few wrestling shows. So I mean, who knows, you know? I mean, the future is wide open for this, but I mean, we always just keep in mind that, you know, this is just our hobby. It's just your average hobby.